The race to Mars isn't just about reaching another planet, it's about two radically different approaches to the same dream. NASA's methodical government-backed mission faces off against SpaceX's bold private venture. Let's explore who might win this cosmic competition. Mars has held humanity spellbound for thousands of years, starting with ancient civilizations who tracked its distinctive red glow across the night sky. The Romans named it after their god of war, inspired by its blood-red color. But it wasn't until the late 1800s, when astronomer Percival Lowell peered through his telescope and thought he saw canals on Mars, that our modern fascination truly began. While those canals turned out to be an optical illusion, they sparked countless stories about Martian civilizations and inspired generations of scientists, writers, and dreamers. What makes Mars so special? Well, it's like Earth's cousin, similar length of day, seasons, polar ice caps, and most importantly, it's close enough that we might actually be able to visit. No wonder it's become the ultimate destination for human exploration. Let's dive into NASA's remarkable journey to Mars, which started way back in 1964 with Mariner 4's first flyby. Since then, they've followed a careful step-by-step strategy that's given us amazing discoveries. Remember those famous Mars rovers? From Sojourner to Perseverance, each one has been more advanced than the last, helping us understand the red planet's secrets. NASA's current plan for human missions is like building a cosmic ladder, first testing technologies close to home, then establishing a moon base as a stepping stone, and finally launching astronauts to Mars in the 2030s. They're developing the powerful Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft, while also planning for practical challenges like radiation protection and growing food on Mars. It's a cautious but proven approach that's already taught us so much about our neighboring planet. Now let's talk about SpaceX's game-changing Starship. It's like nothing we've ever seen before in spaceflight. Picture a massive stainless steel rocket that's completely reusable, standing taller than the Statue of Liberty. What makes Starship revolutionary isn't just its size. It's designed to carry up to 100 people to Mars while being as reusable as an airplane. The key to its design is the innovative Raptor engines that run on liquid methane and oxygen, fuels that could actually be produced on Mars using local resources. Elon Musk's team has taken a bold approach, testing rapidly and accepting that some rockets might explode during development. This fail fast, learn faster strategy has already led to successful high-altitude flights and dramatic landing attempts that are pushing the boundaries of what's possible in rocket science. When it comes to funding the race to Mars, we're looking at two very different money stories. NASA operates on taxpayer dollars, with an annual budget around $25 billion. Sounds huge, right? But that money gets split between everything from Earth science to space telescopes, with Mars missions being just one piece of the pie. SpaceX, on the other hand, combines private investment, revenue from satellite launches, and NASA contracts to fuel their Mars ambitions. They've managed to develop Starship for a fraction of traditional costs, spending roughly $5 billion so far. What's fascinating is how SpaceX's lean commercial approach has dramatically reduced launch costs. Their Falcon 9 rockets cost about 10 times less per launch than traditional systems. This cost efficiency could be the game changer in making Mars missions actually happen. Let's look at the dramatic difference in timelines between these space pioneers. SpaceX is shooting for their first crewed Mars landing by 2029. That's incredibly soon. Elon Musk's team is pushing hard to make this happen, with rapid Starship development and testing already underway. NASA, taking a more measured approach, is looking at the 2040s for their first human mission. They're planning extensive testing, including a moon base as practice. Both timelines have their merits. SpaceX's aggressive schedule could revolutionize space travel if successful, while NASA's careful approach prioritizes safety and proven methods. But here's the thing. Space exploration has a history of missing deadlines, so we should view both timelines as hopeful targets rather than guaranteed dates. The real question isn't just who will get there first, but who will establish a sustainable presence on Mars. When it comes to keeping humans alive on Mars, NASA and SpaceX have quite different playbooks. NASA's approach builds on decades of space station experience, focusing on highly tested life support systems that recycle up to 98% of water and convert CO2 back into oxygen. They're developing specialized habitats that can shield against radiation and maintain Earth-like conditions. SpaceX, meanwhile, is thinking bigger and bolder. Their plan involves using multiple starships as initial habitats, with some landing on Mars and being converted into living spaces. They're also exploring innovative solutions like using local Martian resources to create fuel, water, and building materials. Both approaches have their merits. NASA's systems are proven but expensive, while SpaceX's ideas are more experimental but potentially more scalable for larger colonies. When it comes to who's going to Mars, we're looking at two fascinating approaches. NASA focuses on highly trained astronauts. Think elite professionals with decades of experience in everything from spacewalks to complex scientific research. These folks undergo years of intense preparation, including simulated Mars missions in places like Antarctica. SpaceX, however, has a broader vision. They're planning to send not just professionals, but also engineers, doctors, and eventually, regular people willing to build a new civilization. They're developing training programs that could prepare hundreds of people at once, focusing on essential survival skills and basic spacecraft operations. Both approaches reflect their larger philosophies: NASA's careful professional mission versus SpaceX's vision of large-scale colonization. Here's something fascinating about the Mars race. It might not actually be a race at all. While NASA and SpaceX appear to be competitors, they're more like dance partners in this cosmic ballet. NASA brings decades of Mars exploration experience, invaluable scientific data, and deep space communication networks to the table. SpaceX contributes their revolutionary rocket technology, rapid innovation, and cost-effective launch capabilities. Think about it. NASA already contracts SpaceX for ISS missions, and they could potentially use Starship for their Mars plans. Meanwhile, SpaceX benefits from NASA's research on radiation protection, Mars weather patterns, and life support systems. The reality is, getting humans to Mars is such a massive challenge that combining NASA's methodical approach with SpaceX's innovative spirit might be our best shot at success. Let's tackle the elephant in the space station. Living on Mars isn't just about getting there, it's about surviving physically and mentally. The human body faces serious challenges in Mars' harsh environment. The lower gravity can weaken bones and muscles, while cosmic radiation poses a constant threat. But perhaps even tougher are the psychological hurdles. Imagine being confined in a small space with the same few people for months, millions of miles from home. You're dealing with communication delays of up to 20 minutes, meaning no real-time chats with loved ones. The constant stress of knowing that one equipment failure could be fatal, combined with the eerie isolation of the Martian landscape, can take a serious toll on mental health. That's why both NASA and SpaceX are investing heavily in psychological screening and support systems. So, who's going to win this cosmic race? While SpaceX's ambitious timeline and revolutionary Starship design might seem to give them the edge, success isn't just about being first. NASA's methodical approach, though slower, brings crucial experience and safety protocols to the table. The truth is, reaching Mars will likely require both organizations' strengths. SpaceX's innovative spirit and cost-effective technology, combined with NASA's deep space expertise and scientific knowledge, could create the perfect partnership. History has taught us that space exploration rarely follows our planned timelines. But one thing's certain: whether it's a NASA astronaut or a SpaceX pioneer who first steps onto that red soil, it will mark the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure. Thanks for joining us on this cosmic journey exploring the race to Mars. If you enjoyed learning about these competing visions for reaching the red planet, hit that like button and subscribe for more space exploration content. Share with your fellow space enthusiasts.